I'm here at Bryant Lake Park and I'm doing a project that I've been thinking about for a while. This is going to be an out of the bag video. So I've built this bag over the last few years and really enjoyed it. As you can see, I really like pink and blue plastic, and it's fall, and usually the last few years as we get into fall and winter I've made the switch to G-Star, G-line plastics from mostly S-line type plastic. And I was thinking about the transition this year, just going to a winter blend again, and I was thinking maybe I should try some Vibram. So I'm going to do an out of the bag. I'm going to take everything out of this bag and I'm going to try switching to this. This is a brand new stack. None of these have been thrown yet, so this is a course that I play quite a bit. Usually I'm shooting 50 or so, 49 on a good day, 53 when I'm not converting. So I'm going to do an out of the bag and then put all these in, record my round, and see how it goes with a completely new bag. So starting with putters here, upshots and type thing, S-line, P2, really like throwing this right off the tee, pretty much any upshot. And then upshots that need to stay straight or move right is the P1X, D-line, beat up and nice and flippy. And then putting putters are the DP2s, just feel really good, stable enough, and really like them. Mid-ranges, I've got Gator. This is pretty much for just utility. It's very overstable, obviously. I will also use it as a sidearm approach. When I throw the rock threes, those usually go just a little too straight, so I will use the Gator for that. And then the bulk of it are the rock threes. The Metal Flake is overstable for approaches and things. And then I have a couple S-lines. These are dead straight. I love that I can have the same mold. These are very, very flat, and they're so straight. They'll stay straight. I can work them over if I need to, but mostly these are just going out and going straight. And then I'll use the Metal Flake for something that needs to finish with a little bit. And then rounding it out, Mako 3, I'll use this for turnovers and things that need to get up and move right. And then for the drivers, quite a bit. I've played with these the most over the last while. Basically, a couple destroyers, max weight. This one is very overstable still, nice. 167, this is kind of the bomber. This will move and come back. And then a 138, this is tons of fun to throw with a tailwind or anything that's going way over water. This will actually float, so I'm never scared to throw this 138. Then I've been playing around with the DD, Hysteria, S-line. I used to throw a Wraith and I went to the destroyers, but then I've been playing around with this. This thing is very straight to very stable at the end. So it kind of is in between some of the other stuff I've been throwing, between the destroyers and some of my controlled drivers. The other one I've been trying out is the CD in S-line. I'm waiting for these guys to make the CD2 in S-line, because this is a little fast for a controlled driver, but it's been fun. And then rounding out my distance drivers are the DDXs. Wide open field, this is what I'm throwing. 175 and 167. The DDX will just get up, it'll glide and it'll float and it'll just keep going, and it'll finish soft and forward, which has been a really, really nice one to add. Main kind of fairway-ish is the Thunderbird. Forehands, anything off the tee or approaches, I'm throwing this on a sidearm or on a backhand. Coming out is the Thunderbird. This is kind of a main driver. Firebird, just mostly for utility. I don't throw it a lot. Anything that needs to be longer than a gator to get out and really skip. Other than that, the Firebird, pretty much have to have one, but I don't use it that much. I actually just added the T-Bird not that long ago. I was surprised. This is very stable. I was hoping that I could get one that would carry straight and stay straight for a long time. This is almost like an overstable mid. So I haven't had it long enough probably to do what a T-Bird does. This will go out and almost right away start moving left and finish left, but I plan on working this hard because it's a T-Bird. The last two S-Line TD. This is what I'm using for dead straight shots in tight fairways. I throw with a fan grip almost all the time. If it's not a wide open field, I'm not really comfortable with the power grip. I get tons of control with a fan grip, so most of the stuff that I'm throwing doesn't have as much spin, so usually stuff is more stable than if you were throwing a power grip. So the TD I am throwing out on a slight hyzer and it's carrying straight and even finishing left a little bit. And then kind of the main approach turnover is the FD. The FD is awesome. I've had one and I plan on having lots of them for the summertime. I can't get into the C-line plastic, it just doesn't have the grip for me. So the S-Line is a little bit more understable. This I can just enjoy putting out. It just carries and moves right and stays there. So the FD. Then I carry in here a couple minis. I love minis. Metal Flake and a swirly. So you never know how you're feeling for the day. A couple minis. Birdie beads, I made these. A lot of the other birdie beads that I had before would hang down and they would drag on the ground and stuff, so I just made birdie beads with light and dark colored beads strung in between the two zippers, so I can just move a birdie and a bogey across. So I like those birdie beads. Sport sack has been really nice. I was skeptical of these because it doesn't have like the powder. It's not like a rosin bag, but they work really well. You grab onto that and it soaks the moisture off your fingers, but it also doesn't put dust on your fingers. So I was pleasantly surprised using the sport sack. And then of course the towel. And that's about it. So putting these into the bag, obviously mini, I love this. I love minis in general, so this soft mini. These guys are super overstable. I have thrown these before and I really like these guys. For putters, we'll have to see. Like I said, I haven't thrown any of this stack yet, so this is going to be fun seeing what I can score on a course I'm familiar with all brand new plastic. So starting with the Summit, I wasn't going to get one, but one of the guys on the page recommended that I get one and he said I'd love it, so I'm going to try that out. I got two ridges. I have had experience using ridges before. I did Birdie Bash a couple times and I've thrown ridges, Ibex and Obex, so I know a little bit what to expect with those. The ridge feels really good. I got two of them in firm and these are going to be what I'm going to be putting with. And then of course I had to get a VP, and I expect to be throwing this for stable upshots, I think, and probably anything that needs to be really finishing left and short. So I'm going to be putting those in. And of course for mids, out of the Vibram world, that's pretty straightforward. Got an Obex and an Ibex in medium. I really like soft plastic, so I kind of played around with mediums and firms. So basically, these are straightforward. Obex, Ibex. I think I know what to expect. And then for drivers, I got the fairway lineup. I didn't get the most understable one, I think that's out right now, but I got a Notch, 174, Arch, Firm 173, a Valley 174 medium, and a Vamp 174 medium. So these fairways I expect to check back on the flight rating so that I know I'm grabbing the right one, and basically just trying them out. I'll throw them like I expect and I'll see what I get out of them. And then drivers, like I said, I don't throw with a power grip too much, so I didn't get the really overstable stuff, and I also didn't get an unlace because I've mostly not turning over big stuff like that. So I got two laces, one in firm and one 166 medium. So I'm hoping that this lighter one I can get to move right if I need to, and then a 170 firm for two laces, and then an O-lace for stuff that's into the wind. There's a huge hole here on 17 that I'll probably throw the O-lace off of that. So basically when you come to Bryant, you start thinking about hole 17 right off the bat. So I'm gonna bring these out, video the round, and we'll see what it's like throwing an entire new bag. So I love and hate this starting hole because it's longer than I can reach with a control driver. I could probably reach it if I really lay into it, but you can wind up way down the hill or way up the hill with a bad shot. So really happy with my first ever throw with a lace. Even though I landed behind that tree, I still took that par. This is one of my favorite shots on the course. I normally throw the FD, so I grabbed the Valley hoping that would be a good replacement. I threw it and it got understable and hooked up at the end. This wound up being one of the best shots I've ever had on this hole. Nice. This hole is pretty straightforward. Normally I throw the Rock 3, so I grabbed the Ibex and I just cleared the top of that hill. I left it a little bit short, but it flew pretty much as I expected. I put it with a little bit of hyzer and it held it the whole time. This is my first throw with a Summit. Normally I throw the P1X. This went out straight and faded right and slid right up to the basket. This hole you can get in trouble pretty easily if you go left or right, so a great birdie with the first throw on that one. This hole is another one of my favorites on this course. Normally throw the FD here, so I grabbed that Valley, my second throw with it, put it out flat and downhill, and it just moved right. And this wound up being one of the best plays I've had on this hole. It's tough to make that gap between the trees, and this slid right through it, just past the basket, and stopped on the backstop. This hole is tough for me to get. I don't normally throw a sidearm, so I grabbed the Notch and put it out there straight. But I forgot to record that one, so this was a mulligan with the O-lace. I threw the O-lace a little high, but the Notch went dead straight. It carried a long way and got stable at the end. So my first ever throw with a Notch was great. Notch. This hole is tough for me to get. I don't normally expect to get a 2. You just want to make sure you don't go left because it's nasty in the woods and downhill. So I grabbed that 166 medium lace and just laid into it and made sure that I didn't go left. And I actually wound up really long for what I normally get to. I landed right at the base of the tiers and gave it a run there with the VP and was close, I think. So took my 3 like I normally do every time on this hole, and I just move on. This is a good true par 4 hole. It works to the right, so I grabbed that Valley again, but this one's also uphill. So I threw it flat and it just went straight.
Vamp.
So I grabbed that Vamp just to see what it would do since I haven't thrown it yet. So I put this one out flat, and this one worked right all by itself. Landed exactly where you would want it to.
Better. Well, there's the mulligan. Should have taken that one.
So I grabbed the arch here. I had kind of an S shot to get out of here with a sidearm. I didn't get the camera quite set, but I threw it out and it hyzered out early. Kind of left me with a long putt. So this was kind of the first long tester putt with the ridge. Trying to get that feel right, and I just threw it right. Working the valley pretty hard on this course. This shot is just uphill and straight. So I put it on a hyzer and it flipped up, carried right, and hyzered out at the end. It still landed a little short and tough missing that putt. So I just had to come back, and even tougher missing that one.
All right. Let's try this Obex, huh? Yeah.
This is a tough short hole. It's really downhill and works left. You need to throw at a good down angle and sneak through the trees.
Ooh, got through.
I did sneak through the trees and skip down past the green. Pretty happy with this putt coming back uphill. I really wanted the ace on this hole. Normally I grab the Mako 3. It's just downhill and dead straight. As soon as that came out of my hand, I threw it on a bit of a hyzer and it just held
Mulligan
it.
with the Summit.
So I grabbed this Summit just to throw a mulligan through the same angle, down on a hyzer, and this was just smooth. Flipped up, turned over, landed right on the chips. So another long tester putt with the ridge. Just threw it a little low. Seems like all my favorite holes on this course are holes I normally throw the FD. So I grab that valley. You got to pick a side of that one center tree in the fairway. I throw it left, but I tried forcing the S curve on that one, so I didn't put the speed on it. Grabbed the Vamp and threw with some speed. It moved right, but not quite soon enough. Another tester putt uphill with the ridge. And I think the ridges are a little bit more shallow than the P2, so I kind of flipping them up, throwing these long putts. This was the chance for the VP off the tee, threw a sidearm and somehow snuck through that little gap in the trees and actually got really stable and wound up pretty darn close. Just a little side note, you can see the edge of the block of wood from my homemade phone holder that I have on my cart. So that's what that is, in case you're wondering. It's tough to see with the sun, but this is a long hyzer hole. There's trees on the left that you have to get past, so I grabbed that medium lace, threw it, and it worked right, and hyzered back left, and it got longer than I normally land. So a 2 on this hole is, I'm happy, and just outside the circle putt on that one. Normally I throw the rock 3 on here, but I grabbed the arch. You got to get over that hill but down under that tree. Just got it a little bit high, but I was really feeling good about this putt. I tried to just make it smooth. Hole 16, very tight hallway, downhill, grabbed the ibex and threw it just a hair right and caught a little tiny pine tree that kicked it left. So I grabbed the ridge to throw a mulligan, and it was almost the exact same spot, but it cleared everything and landed right down on circle's edge. So off that tee shot with the ibex, I was just left with kind of a get out of trouble shot. So I picked it up and tried to throw an Annie that would just carry around left, but I caught something early and hyzered out right. Left me with kind of a long hyzer putt with a ceiling and just caught the basket on that one, trying to save the par. But I had to run over and go over to my mulligan. This was the ridge I threw, and this is just a fun putt over the rock, so I had to take it. I just can't win today. Chained out,
landed right next to the other one.
We're gonna take a look at 17 if you've never been to Bryant before. Only 536, so not scary. Laying down over that parking lot to a tiered basket right up there.
And then my phone died, so I had to walk down the hill and recharge it.
Well, here's the view from the bottom. And I'll go back up. Oh.
I decided to go with the lace here instead of the O lace. And I just put it down on a slight hyzer, and this thing is flying just as far or further than my destroyers and DDXs. I normally will have a short throw at this basket, but I was close enough to make a jump putt here. I've never taken a 2 on this hole. I still haven't taken a 2, but this was the closest run I've had. So this round was a lot of fun, taking an entirely new to me bag, all discs that I've had no experience with, and trying to put together a good round. On 18, I've only taken a 2 on this hole one time. So I put everything I had into that blue lace and I turned it over a little bit, kind of gave me this goofy upshot over the trees, but I was able to lay that ridge up and over and put it pretty close to finish out this 18.
Alright, so that was a round at Bryant. I think I shot a 50, which is pretty much right what I normally throw. And let's take a look. So the ridges, I was putting with this one. There were a couple times there was one gimme for sure that I just missed. I was throwing them a little bit right. It might be a little shallower than my P2, so I was trying to start them off a little bit more hyzer because I'm flipping them up, but towards the end I was feeling it pretty straight and just kind of had to figure that new feel, but it was there. I don't think I threw the summit off the tee other than a couple mulligans, but this came just like I expected. Threw it on a hyzer, flipped up, and just kind of rode like this all the way to the bottom, so that was pretty cool. And then the VP, I think I threw on an upshot or two. And I also threw the number 13, slipped through a gap and gave me a birdie. The Obex and the Ibex, I only threw a couple times also, but as expected, the Ibex, I really wanted an ace going down on 11, but threw it out with hyzer because I normally throw my Mako 3 that flips up. This I threw and it just held it, and it hyzered out early, and normally I can convert that one but didn't get it this time. I don't think I threw the O-lace too much actually off the top. I wound up throwing the lace, which almost gave me a 2. I still have not taken a 2 on 17, but that was the closest I've been hitting the basket. And I pretty much threw this lighter medium lace the most. The notch, I threw only a couple times, but it's very overstable. It was easy for me to throw the side arm and have it stay, come back. The arch, I wish I would have thrown a little bit more to see what it does, but I mostly threw the valley, so threw this one quite a bit. This one I expected to replace my FD, and I think it did. Pretty much drop-in replacement. I could throw it with a hyzer and have it flip up. I could throw it flat and have it move over. And I really only threw the vamp a few times on some mulligans also. And that one for sure I could put on a hyzer and it flipped up and actually rode over. So I wasn't too confident throwing this off the tee because just reading the flight ratings, I figured throwing this would have moved too right for a lot of those shots. So I really do use my FD quite a bit, so this valley, pretty much, I worked pretty hard today. The one hole, number 12, I love that hole, and I just took a little bit too much off when I threw this and tried to force the ante. If I would have thrown this hard, it would have flipped up, moved right, stabled up, and done exactly what I wanted. So pretty much after that round, I think I'm going to leave all these in the bag and play with these for the winter. I really, this course pretty much has every shot, and there wasn't a tee box where I stood there wishing I had something else. I was mostly just focused on what I was going to pick, and I was able to pretty much do what I expected without even having thrown them before. So that was actually a lot of fun, just taking a whole stack that I've never thrown before and pretty much shooting one of my best rounds, pretty standard good round. I really only missed a few putts, and I can't really blame brand new putters on that. But that was a lot of fun. You should try it.